Today on Great Places Seen, it's camping along the Appalachian Trail. You're along for the ride as we take a hike to join local wildlife living life on the edge. It's a beautiful day in the nation's capital, but it's also typical August hot. So up the highway to up the slightly cooler mountains for the weekend. Let's grab some fuel, grab the trailer, and return to the Maryland portion of the Appalachian Trail. There it is. Greenbrier State Park is on the trail, so the plan is to take a northbound hike after making the trek south in the last video to the Washington Monument. The campground was completely full when I checked, except for one open space. Let's see what we get. It's electric only, but that's okay. A full water tank will be more than enough for a weekend. I call it boondocking plus. The site is up a big hill to the third of 4 loops. While it looked like a tricky downhill backward turn to park, it turned out to be an easy one-time effort. We've officially landed. Well, this had to be one of the easiest site setups ever. Just back in, everything was level, plug in, and we're good to go. Not bad for a last-minute site with no selection. This is the last site that was available. Somebody must have canceled, and we scooped it up. Tonight, some burgers on the grill. Bon appetit! The bees like the food too.
There's some kind of noise up on the roof. I'm sure it must be a bird or something, but every time I go out, there's nothing there. Hear it?
Okay, I'm getting to the bottom of this. There's something over there. What's this? Is he attacking the trailer? Is he after something? This cardinal seems interested in the side of the trailer for some reason. You know, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity. My apologies to golfers, but it looks like this guy is committing a cardinal sin. Obviously, this bird has never seen a new Camp Tab 400 before. He's got to check it out.
Perhaps it's the impervious Asdale siding that he's enamored with. Perhaps he thinks it's a rival cardinal that he's seeing in the side of the trailer.
That looks like a lobster tail in the window.
This guy must have a headache by now. I suspect when the light changes, he'll become less interested. I think he sees himself, perhaps another rival, and he's going after it. There's nothing there to eat.
He must have flown to this one window 100 times since daybreak.
He seems to be undeterred that the shade is pulled down and he can see the camera in the window.
I could spend all my time watching this show, but I'm making some coffee, have some breakfast, and get ready for a hike on the Appalachian Trail. Well, perhaps this is what is luring the bird in. This particular window, the silicone seal is very smooth all the way around. The window that the bird is going after has a few little bubbles in the silicone seal, and perhaps the bird is thinking this is something that he can eat or go after. But you would think after a time or two he'd realize that that's not edible. Well, thanks to this bird, my GoPro batteries are now low, so I'm charging up batteries. Time to leave that crazy cardinal behind and get on the Appalachian Trail. It's the trail to the trail. The sign has a white blaze, but the tree has a blue blaze. We'll follow blue. And very quickly, the short connector trail is already starting to look very much like the AT. Little connector trail may be steeper than the AT itself. I mean, this thing is going straight up, and it's only, about a half mile, but wow, It is an incline, to be sure.
The camera really cannot show you the steep grade of this little connector trail. I mean, this is going straight up. Almost to the Appalachian Trail, though.
Well, definitely getting closer.
While I'm taking a quick break up this steep trail, I'm going to like the lichen. At least there's a good breeze up here to cool off for a minute.
Wasting no time picking our way through the rocks here. Yeah, just when you thought it couldn't get any steeper. Mind you, I'm still on the connector trail.
And here's the welcome sign for Greenbrier State Park with the trail map listed. And it also lists the degree of difficulty for each trail. Now, I don't recall seeing this down at the bottom. Yeah, difficult. Got that one right.
I think that's going to be the toughest half mile I do all day long. Wow. And I'm still not to the AT yet. Yeah.
Wow, that's an understatement.
Well, there you have it. Standing in a rough midpoint of the Appalachian Trail. Harper's Ferry is kind of the unofficial midpoint at the visitor center. I feel like I just climbed Mount Katahdin after that little trek. What a half mile that was. I'm actually looking forward to the relatively easy section of the AT in Maryland. And there we have it. Finally, the end of the Bartman Trail. And on to the Appalachian Trail. It's northbound for today's trek.
This was the southbound direction that I hiked going to the Washington Monument. And looking northbound, this is where I came through going back to the parking area just on the other side of Interstate 70, which I need to cross today again to get into the more northern part of the trail that I'm going to.
After a good half-hour climb coming out of Greenbrier State Park, I'm on the very relatively tame Appalachian Trail. Now, I understand there are parts of the Appalachian Trail that will rival what I just did, but at least for the moment, this is a easy section, and I'm not as hot as I was. I've cooled down a little bit and starting to make progress to today's destination. I'm not really a very fast runner. I mean, I do run, I take my time, and I get through the distance. I would say that the first half hour of today's hike would be the equivalent of a 3-mile run for me in terms of time, and certainly in terms of difficulty. When you add it all up over the half hour, that was pretty strenuous. So right now, just gliding along the AT on the way to the Interstate 70 Overpass.
These homeowners want you to be certain where the trail goes, right between their yards.
And here it is, Interstate 70, very long interstate across the country. At this point, traversing western Maryland and going right underneath the Appalachian Trail. you come out of the quiet forest, and it's pretty noisy along the overpass. All right, let's continue north. There's today's northbound destination. The AT has several more uphills in store today. This section of the AT is literally a walk in the park. Very smooth.
The trail is mostly wooded, but every once in a while you come along an area like this where there's a cut through for power lines, and you get a nice view of what's around you.
I'm a big fan of the AT. The thought of covering almost 2,200 miles on foot is rather intriguing. I have several books at home, even a wall map of the entire trail. Like today, I've done very short portions. Well, maybe more one day. Today's trek is too short to show up on the big map. Maryland is described by thru hikers as an easy section. If this is easy, well, there's quite a challenge out there. Challenge or not, it's a beautiful area along the AT. Look what we're privy to. The short downhill opens to Annapolis Rock with a wide southwest view. I know of another outcropping to the right and through the trees. Likely there's no one over there. Yep, got it all to myself. It's a long way down, straight down. But it's also a long way out, straight out. There are perhaps more famous overlooks along the AT, but this one is really good. I can see Greenbrier Lake in the state park, and the trailer is somewhere there in the trees, about 3 miles away. The other visitors are leaving. It's time to climb up and walk over to the other side. That ridge in the foreground is what I had to hike out of the park to get to the AT. There's where I was. Some of these big trees are amazing, gaining sturdy footholds through the cracks in the rock. This is the little side trail that goes to the spring. It's a descent from the AT to Annapolis Rock, which means it's a climb back up to the AT. Not terribly bad, but it's starting to wear on me a little bit today. And the double blue blaze, so back on the AT, heading southbound. Well, it's a little bit after 4 p.m. now, and heading back to the trailer. The AT was a little bit slower than I expected, but I guess you can never really plan on a specific rate of pace when you're on the AT. Your stride changes so much just from step to step, depending on whether you got a lot of rocks or trees to negotiate, or if it's just a nice wide open stretch. But regardless, it was a very good visit to Annapolis Rock. Extremely scenic spot. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. And now the trek back, and hopefully it won't take as long going back. We'll see. The Appalachian Trail is almost 2,200 miles long, stretching from Springer Mountain to Mount Katahdin in Maine. The original trail was only about 2,050 miles, and it has expanded since the 1930s when it was originally conceived, and the trail is still growing. And that's because sections of the trail are being rerouted, are being extended for various reasons. And there's an estimate that the Appalachian Trail has actually shifted course 1,500 or 2,000 times since it came into existence. So the trail that you're walking today is not exactly the trail that was being trod upon a century ago, but it still remains largely the same route. And although areas may not be exactly the same, it is gorgeous. It's a beautiful trek, no matter if you do a day hike, if you do a section hike, or you're a through hiker and you make it all the way end to end. And I certainly have a lot of respect for through hikers. It's not an easy trail, and it's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations if you've done it. There is a movement in Alabama
to extend the Appalachian Trail from Springer Mountain to Alabama's highest point. And if that were to occur, that would extend the Appalachian Trail by about 314 miles. So then you'd have about a 2,500 mile trail, which is even more impressive, except that raises some concerns for thru hikers that you wouldn't be able to complete the trail in time to get to Mount Katahdin, because the window, if you're going northbound to get to Maine, is fairly tight. You don't have much time to get up there before Mount Katahdin is closed for the winter season. And that means you would have to start in the Alabama portion very early in the year, and that could be really cold and snowy at elevation, and quite a challenge if you're trying to thru hike it that way. I can begin to hear the constant rush of vehicles on Interstate 70. So that means that I am closing in on the overpass, and there may be about another mile to go to get to the Campground Visitor Center. And fortunately, on the way back, that's going to all be downhill. Very steep downhill. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but that's the sound of an interstate highway. And actually right now, that's a very welcome sound to hear. Back to the overpass.
Walk toward the light. That's what they say. Walk toward the light. Thank you, nice people, for letting me cross in between your yards. You go back to this unassuming little clearing in the woods off the road, which happens to be the venerable Appalachian Trail. A little rocky back up to the top of the hill there, where I'll start my descent into Greenbrier State Park. Another welcome sign to see. Well, I know the ridge that I'm on top of right now, and getting ready to descend it. And right in front of me, here comes the really steep downhill. At least it's downhill. Here is the only place that I have seen where it lists the Bartman Hill Trail as difficult. And that's in the middle of the Bartman Hill Trail. Well, you may think going downhill is easier than going uphill, and it is, except for the fact that the angle of your steps, your ankles, Achilles, my back is arched to keep my balance, and doing that for an extended period of time is not easy, which makes a very steep, long, steep trail like this pretty difficult to go down. And you just have to take your time and pick your way through it, because it's very easy to get tripped up on something here, and really not much to stop you going down. Yeah, that goes way down there. I'm headed way down there. But I can hear the echoes of the PA system from the lake, which means I'm getting close. Well, the sign is minor encouragement, but still a long way down. That may look level on the screen, but I trust me, it's quite steep. It gives you a little sense of what the angle is that I've been going down for a good solid 15 minutes, and I'm still not near the bottom. You can really get a sense of the slope there. I mean, that's pretty steep, especially when you're on loose rocks.
We'll call it in the middle, about a 15-degree slope, which is nearly a 27% grade. Yeah, that's steep. Well, I can finally see the clearing for the visitor center. Almost there.
Yay! Getting to the end of the Bartman Hill Trail. Wow. What a difficult half mile that is. Both ways. Now, do you see anywhere on that sign the word difficult? No. The trail just connects to the Appalachian Trail.
it says absolutely nothing about being difficult. You know, I got a sticker before when I hiked it to the Washington Monument, but you know, I got a sticker before when I hiked to the Washington Monument, but after today, I deserve another one. Well, the road is uphill, but at least it's paved, no rocks, and I can just go at a steady, constant pace. Back to the trailer, literally in moments. Well, I was going at a steady pace, but now my left leg is seriously cramping up. I just had to stand for a minute or two and put some pressure on it with my body weight just to ease it up a bit. And right now it is very sore. Good news is Cedar Loop is the next loop on the hill, and just a few campsites up that little hill, and I'm there. So I think I can make it. If not, I'll stop and put more pressure on my leg to help relieve the cramp. But it doesn't bode well for tonight, because I know what's going to happen in the middle of the night. All of a sudden it's going to be a shooting pain, and one of the hardest things to do is to get yourself upright and put your full body weight on a leg cramp that is absolutely strong, sharp, but that's what works. That will knock it out in a few seconds. So if you have a leg cramp, you know, it's against your feeling to do so, but put your full weight on it and just a few seconds, you know, count to 10 and you should be much better. These uphills always seem steeper going up than they do coming down. I don't remember it this steep. Finally, home is in sight. Yeah, I'm gonna fill up again with some water. Yeah, I need to go through a good bit of water at this point. Looks like a very inviting place to sit down. I think I will. I'm taking the shortcut up the hill. I'm not walking around. I was going to say something just sitting down at the table, but I'm just too tired. Something cold. Dry out a little bit. Get a shower and something to eat, and I'll feel a lot better. But rewarding hike nonetheless.
While I rest, I'm staring at this tree.
To me, that looks like that could be the face of a bear or even a wolf in the tree. Two eyes, long nose, and a little hint of a mouth at the bottom. What do you think? A little bit wider out, it almost looks like an old man in the tree. Yeah.
If I start drawing shapes in the clouds, call 911 for me, please.
Well, and while I was getting my shower,
I could hear that our little bird-brained friend was back, flying out of the bushes over here where he likes to kind of perch and hop around. And then he comes over to the window, and I don't know what he's trying to do. Obviously it's not the lighting because that's gone. I don't think it has anything to do with seeing his reflection. Maybe he just likes porthole windows. I don't know. It's our bird-brained friend here at this campsite. Well, all cleaned up after the hike, and after that I have no desire to mess with a campfire tonight. So, grilling it is. And real simple, just some hot dogs and nice simple meal. Enjoy the evening, relax and kick back for a bit. Good morning, it's moving day. Several neighbors have already left. I'm not on a tight schedule today, but I'm hitching now so that when it's checkout time, I can roll. Well, look who's checking out the vacated sites. We know who runs this park. As the campground empties, one part of the park is filled up. Parking lot is full, and this is just one row. The lake is no doubt the most popular draw at Greenbrier State Park. A big beach, lots of picnic areas and pavilions. There's Annapolis Rock, 3 miles away. Those PA speakers look like they came from the MASH 407 7th. Time's running out. Time to run back to the trailer and head out. This is a convenient park for us. It's definitely going to be on the list for a quick last-minute getaway. Thanks for sharing the adventure on Great Places Seen. Subscribe and follow GPS to the next destination.